ding 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 ding.
Fubble Time.
You have like scrunchy.
Oh no, really? This?
Yes, you just ruined our yes. That's annoying. Let's do it again.
Wow.
One more time. Ding 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 ding.
Fubble Time.
That's much better. Hi everybody, my name is Teresa Tomey.
And I'm Patrick Ziegler.
And we are
Fubble Entertainment.
And this is
Fubble Time.
All right. Oh, I'm sorry I had to make you do that over that.
Yeah, now I'm all self-conscious about it.
You should be. You should be. We have musicians, vocalists, people who understand sound and music. So you got to.
And you just sang.
Well, they appreciate enthusiasm, I think.
So wait a minute. I'm worried this is going to do that.
That's okay.
No, I'm going to. Okay.
I am so excited. Let's talk about who's coming and going to be.
Yay!
In a second. So fun. I'm so happy you get to meet these two fabulous people. All of you, Patrick, and all of you. Grammy-nominated songwriter Tor Hyams and Broadway performer Lisa St. Loup, the producers, offer a unique blend of comedy and heart through musical plays and screenwriting. I mean, they do it all. Television, Tor and Lisa have written The Whites. It's a pilot. Half-hour comedy about a black family living in a wealthy white suburb during the Obama years. The Lou, this is another pilot. Senior Living, another pilot. Cluster FCK, I'm thinking clusterfuck. Which I love the name of the pilot on this, Angry Vegan. Animal Control, they have theater projects. Their original theater works include Stealing Time, a story about a woman struggling to rebuild her life. After years in an emotionally abusive marriage. I share this with you because I think it's so fascinating that they write something called Clusterfuck, Angry Vegan, and Senior Living, but also write Stealing Time. I mean, their repertoire is just really extensive, and I'm excited to hear more about how they approach their projects. They also were part of the first annual Trump Family Special, which had its off-Broadway run at the Triad Theater. That's how I got to know these two fabulous people. They have been commissioned by Center Stage Capital to write a musical adaptation of the legendary television show Green Acres.
Yay.
We love, of course, as classic TV fans. Additional commissions include Ensemble, which was commissioned by the Theatrical Rights Worldwide, which is to be performed by middle and high school age students. And also An Atypical Family, which is a story about autism spectrum disorder told from the perspective of the couple raising an atypical child. I mean, fascinating. The duo participated in the BMI Lehman Engel Musical Theater Workshop and were selected twice as residents for the Johnny Mercer Writers Colony at Goodspeed Opera House. Collectively, Tor and Lisa have won several awards, and certainly most notably, Tor's Grammy nomination. Fun for them. And she has an album, and we are going to be talking about that today too. And I'm so excited. Pleased to welcome Tor and Lisa to our show.
Hello.
Hey.
Sorry, we were fubbling before you brought us in. So
you know what that looks like?
Yeah, we need a moment.
We don't either. But I was thinking, Teresa, as you were singing that, I was going, I wonder how you transcribe that exactly.
It does it right. It does it when the closed caption comes on Facebook or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, it does.
Ding, 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 ding. Does it do that?
It does. Guess who's joined us and talks about his favorite show?
Oh, it's Danny.
Danny, Trump Family Special. My fave, of course. Hi, Danny.
So yeah, Danny hates us. So he brought us into this project. I'm just kidding.
That's why we're here, though, because of
that is why we're here.
Why we know
Danny.
you, Teresa.
No, Danny, that was actually, it's a great project. I mean, Danny has this, really. I think what's great about him is that he turned his severe anger of the Trump administration into an amazingly funny show that he brought us in to help with the music. And we ended up being in it. maybe much to his chagrin, but not Lisa, me, I'm to his chagrin. Lisa was probably a delight for him. And then, and it turned out really great. You know, we did it in LA for a little bit, and that's where we met Teresa. And that was a really, really special time. And then we did it in New York. We had a run with the with Gina Gershon. And and that was great. And then and then
the show was great.
And then it was over because, you know, it was time for it to be over.
Well, you know, it was getting real, right? Like that's what happened.
Yeah,
it was getting a little real.
For sure. They were like, "What?"
Yeah. We got kids in cages. How do we? It's tough.
But it was fun while it lasted.
One of our best songs, "Kids in Cages." We don't write that.
Well, speaking of kids, we always ask this to our guests. It's kind of our first question of when and where and how did you get bitten by the creative bug? Do you remember when, where, and how?
Unfortunately, at 5 years old.
That's
I mean, well, actually, 7 years old is when Grease 2 came out, and Cool Rider was my favorite song. So,
oh my gosh, I love it. Seriously.
And that's the first time I actually performed in front of my family, and it was really scary and awful.
Honestly, every time she says Grease 2, I throw up a little in my mouth.
Yeah.
Like Grease 2, really?
It was
Grease.
amazing.
There was Grease, and there was nothing.
That was your era.
My era. I'm older. I fell in love with theater when my grandfather took me to see Annie when I was 6 years old. With Andrew McCardle.
Oh my gosh.
Right. And he bought me the soundtrack album, LP, actual vinyl after. And I wore it out by playing it so many times. And I'm not gay.
I am fascinated right now that your entree into the music world was through Annie.
And not only that, but I would sing.
And Grease too.
Right.
Like you guys were destined to work together.
Yes.
Okay, but I'm very intrigued why listening to Annie would be associated with gay, because a lot of gay people don't like Annie.
Really? That goes to show you I'm a breeder. No,
You didn't say that anymore.
you can say it. I'm saying it. I just said it. No, I don't know why. I don't really mean that. That was just my terrible attempt at a joke. But no, there was something about that song Tomorrow, and I would sing it for everybody who would listen. And every time I sang it, people were like, he has a really good voice. He could really be something. And boy, did I prove them wrong.
Come on. Were you Tor, you're so multifaceted from your resume and everything, but was that your path? It was performance?
Yeah. Before
writing and all of that? Is that?
Yeah, I wanted to be on Broadway. That was my dream. And then life does what it does, and I took a different turn more into being a composer and lyricist, but really being a composer in LA for film and TV. I did a lot of movies. In fact, I guess this is the Danny Salas show, because the way I met Danny was he was a executive producer on a lot of television shows, and he hired me. I would say arguably for my first kind of real season, like a real series. And it was the first time I think I'd gotten on a series. I'd done like one-offs. I'd scored documentaries or whatever, that I did 12 documentaries for the History Channel at one point, which, it's just really hard as a composer because you have to press one key for 4 minutes and let it drone. And anyway, but Danny hired me for this really cool show that was in LA, and I was on MTV, and then he kept hiring me, which is in LA a really rare thing that somebody's loyal, and so that was a really special thing. And Danny has a very significant place in my heart. But then I just started writing songs for other people, and then I started producing records, which was my real love at the time. And so it took a different path, and I did get a record deal when I was 29 on a subsidiary of Warner Brothers. And I really loved that process. I made a record. They paid for me to make a record. It was this big deal. And then the subsidiary went under 2 weeks before it was supposed to be released. And I thought, I'm okay. That's good. I'm good. And my daughter was just born, and I figured I didn't want to go on the road anyway. I always wanted to be with her. And so I said, I like what I'm doing. I'm being paid to make music, being paid really well. Not in Danny shows, but in other shows. Just kidding, Danny.
What the hell did Danny pay for? I want to know.
No, Danny actually, he got good shows. I mean, the shows.
That's great.
Yeah, they paid really well for cable. Anyway, so
were you in LA at the time, Tor?
Yeah, I was in LA. I lived there 15 years, and then I had this big project. I got the Grammy nomination. Then I got this big project together, and it fell apart at the last minute after working on it for 4 months to put it together. And I kind of had a nervous breakdown, and I said, "That's it. I'm done. I don't want to do this. I want to write musical theater. I want to go back to those roots, the roots of Annie." And and I will shut up after this. But ironically, Danny's writing stuff. It's making me laugh. I'm sorry. Ironically,
just being mean.
My first.
And Fred's got a long message here too.
Yeah. My first musical, which the only thing we didn't write together, which was called Greenwood, about a performing arts camp. I got Andrea McArdle to star in it.
Oh my gosh!
Full circle moment for little.
Wow.
And now I'll shut up because I've been doing all the talking.
Oh my gosh, I love that though. But read your husband's post.
What Fred Stella said, I chortled mightily at the Trump show. He did. He died. He loved it so much. I almost voted to re-elect Trump just so there would be a sequel. I finally decided democracy was more important than a funny show. Yeah, that's true. Bless your heart, Fred. You made the right decision. So you at some point come back to New York, because at some point you two cross paths. So how do you cross paths, and what is your first project together, and how does that was the project before the hi?
It was kind of intertwined. It's a funny story. So I was doing the show. It was called Greenwood, and it was the most kind of popular show at NYMF that year. And Andrew McArdle was starring in it, like I said. And Lisa actually auditioned for it.
Oh.
Yeah, and I killed the first audition, and I sang a song I wrote, and everybody was like, "Tor, you're gonna love this girl." I didn't see her. He hadn't seen me. No,
because I was in LA, so I flew in for the callbacks.
Yeah,
and I
was in,
and everyone was telling me, "Tor, this woman Lisa, wait till you see. She's exactly the part you wanted. She looks it, she sings it, the whole thing." And then she blew it.
I blew the fucking callback. Just blew it. Like, honestly, like it felt like Steve Carell in when he was playing the newscaster in that one show with, oh God, it doesn't matter. But it was like I was possessed and I couldn't get the words out, like on the page. It was so
oh boy.
Weird. I was like,
nervous?
No, I just was like, the way I thought I was going to do it, and I had it all planned. None of it was going right. And I walked out of there and I was like, I just fucking screwed the pooch on that one. So that was it. Didn't get it. And it's good that I didn't, because this would have never happened.
Yeah, I think if she was an actor in my show,
can you imagine?
Nothing would have happened. Also, we were both married at the time. And so so then the show went up, and what I didn't realize is that my whole life was going to be on full display through all these characters, which I don't know why I didn't realize that when I wrote it, but I didn't realize it. And then they were, and then I had another nervous breakdown. And then I got a musical theater agent out of it, came back. She's like, write a bunch of new stuff and I'll showcase you. Went back to LA. And then I came back here and I went to see one of the producers from that show in this bar. And then she walked into this bar.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, you guys froze.
We're back.
There you are.
There you are.
I think I said we were both married at the time, and
it froze.
StreamYard broke. I think StreamYard is
it's run by the people who
run by Christians. A lot of Christians.
Kevin is a regular and he said the weatherman.
That's it. Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you, Kevin. Okay. Thank you.
And a friend of mine from high school is here who says hi, Patrick.
So we met at this bar, and I just thought there was just something about her.
It was weird.
That was really spectacular. I never.
You didn't know her. You didn't, because you never saw. Did you see the callback? Did you see her bad callback?
Yeah, but
I
didn't remember her. I knew I said I didn't want her to cast her. We actually ended up casting an African American woman.
Yeah.
That's how bad she was. I'm just kidding. That was a terrible joke.
Oh my God.
That's terrible.
What is wrong with you?
I'm gonna be canceled now. Fuck.
It's all good.
It's not.
It's not. No, look.
It's not.
You know what though? Here's the thing. Let's talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about that for a minute. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of all of it. I'm sick of the whole cancel thing. Like, I will literally go down on a bisexual tree goat. But can't we just say whatever the fuck?
What did you just say?
This is going terrible for Fubble Time, isn't it?
It's all good.
A bisexual tree goat.
I said that. I said I would go down on one.
Yes.
I kind of want to see that.
We're terrible. I'm terrible. I'm a terrible person. So anyway, we met. We were married. I couldn't. Speaking of being a terrible person, I couldn't.
Oh God.
But I wasn't. Nobody was happy. Nobody was happy.
I can't.
That's the truth. Nobody was happy.
Me.
Her husband wasn't happy. My wife wasn't happy. I wasn't happy. She wasn't happy. So we met and things happened. And I'm like, fuck it. I want to be happy. And that was the whole thing. I had these 2 breakdowns. I realized I was a fucking mess. I was upset.
So you went into musical theater?
Yes.
One of the other most
That was
difficult.
a huge mistake.
Our friend Becky says, "Hi, I'm loving this guy." So
Oh God, I got one. I got one with my.
I'm sure you got Becky on bisexual tree goat. I'm sure.
I can't believe I said that.
She came in on that one.
Something is wrong with me. Something's really wrong with me, and I'm not even drunk. I haven't drank in 10 days. We were freaked out about getting.
well,
COVID.
maybe you should.
Maybe you fucking should. Hey, are we allowed to cuss? Because we are.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We've had a few, but not this many ever on Fubble. it's not like it's not.
a minister.
Shit.
Oh, please.
Oh, please. You got to meet his husband.
I do. I would like that very
much.
He's actually sworn from the pulpit a few times.
I love him. Can we
I
go
like him
there?
already.
Okay,
That's my church.
You've given
Tor, stop bottling up your feelings.
This is fun. This is fubbling. We're fubbling.
I like bubbling.
So getting us back in, because I think one of the things that is so interesting is the my friend Ann says great energy. Yay, Ann's an amazing artist out of Chicago. I want to know, like, you guys met, but Teresa asked you this, but you didn't quite get there. When did you start collaborating together?
He wanted me to produce this thing, and I'm like, I'm a fake producer. Like, I don't really want to produce. I came to that meeting to find someone else to produce the show I was producing.
This isn't going well. I thought she's talking and she's not talking.
I'm just laughing at myself. Anyway.
Oh my God, everyone's gonna think we're on drugs.
We're so not high. I mean, I haven't had anything to drink in 10 days either. So anyway, and it turned out it was just like not happening. It wasn't happening. And then he wanted me to hear some music that he wrote, and he was playing it. And I was like, oh, that's really nice, but why don't you do this? Because that sounds a little too 70s. And then he said, I don't write with singers. And then that's how it started. So that's the first song we wrote together, was Stealing Time.
And it was really, like, in all seriousness, that show was and is, it's really about what we went through, how we were unhappy, and you know, what's important. Is it important to stay in kind of the stability of your life? Or is it more important to jump off a cliff without knowing where you're going to land, or if you're going to land? So that's what Stealing Time is about. That's what we were writing about, because it's so rare, right? When 2 people are going through the exact same crisis at the exact same time and are also attracted to each other. That's what sired Tor and Lisa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, sweet. You brought that home.
Brought it home.
You
Yeah.
did bring it home.
That's-
And In case
Kristen Daly Green says her laugh is everything. Oh no! Now they froze again.
Yeah,
Okay, they're there.
We're here.
Okay.
We're back. So you are laughing. You are. I mean, is this a fun process for you guys working together? I mean, what do you have? You do so many varied things. You have so many. Like, how are your ideas birthed, and how do you decide that that's what you want to spend the rest of the next 2 months or 3 months or 6 months or 6 years working on? Like, what?
Well, I mean, the things we're hired for, like,
Yeah.
like Green Acres, for example. I mean, that was something that, you know, we get ours. I guess it's kind of like Lisa's really the actor. I'm not so much of an actor, but that's what we get ourselves in those people, you know, and we play. So we'll improv. What would Ebb say? You know, what would, you know, Drucker say? And you know, we turn Drucker.
I know these references. I know these names.
Right. And but you wouldn't recognize him in the show because Drucker used to be an old white man and now she's a rotund black woman.
Oh my God, I love it.
In our Green Acres.
Yeah, and she plays all the roles. Like,
yeah.
She was like, she just puts a different hat on because she has to be everybody for that whole town, basically.
She's every job in the town. And you know, so we kind of come up with what's the weirdest thing we can do to these characters, and then we bring them back. And that part's really fun. That's the fun. So we enjoy each other. We enjoy.
Does she play Arnold?
No, Arnold is still a pig.
Arnold is what?
Still a pig.
Not
Not a bisexual one though? Is
no, but Arnold's pronoun is they.
Okay.
Anyway, you know, so we play around a lot. It's just all playtime. The part where it can get
That got me.
That's the one I just went right by. Buried the lead.
I'm hiding my face.
Anyway,
I'm gone.
if you hide your face, then it's just going to be.
You like that, Patrick? Arnold's pronoun is they. Oh, Patrick's gone.
Because I'm just so confused by all of it.
Yeah.
And
That's right.
oh my gosh.
One person.
Oh my gosh, that one got me. Okay.
The hard part of working together. That's the fun part. The hard part of working together is the kind of the nitty gritty of arguing over one line in a lyric of a song of a scene song that lasts 7 minutes, and you're going, no, you would say but, not and. No, it's and.
Yeah.
It's clearly, you know, it's like that's the stuff where you're like, fuck this. I'm going to get a cup of coffee. I'll see you in a minute. You know, and so.
But I mean, even just this, for instance, I shouldn't say this about our latest idea, should I?
Whatever.
About the play? Okay,
I've already been a racist, and it's like.
So like, just said like 3 days ago, this really sweet neighbor of ours, this little boy.
Oh yeah.
He's like 6 years old, and he has his friend over or something, and they were playing. And Tor overheard this.
Well, it was his sister, and I heard him over talking to his dad in the neighboring yard, and he said, "She was mean to me, and now she has no one to play with." And that's just how life works. That's
wow.
what he said. And I was like, yeah.
That's pretty enlightened for a 10-year-old.
Right. And so it's really interesting. And so we thought, let's make a play of that. So that's in the case where we're not hired. Let's make a play of grown-ups talking like that.
Like that, and then I said, we should call it Inner Child.
Inner Child.
Because
wow, that's fun.
And I was born. Senior Living was a totally different story. Senior Living was about really born out of greed, because we were like, we need to write a two-hander musical, and then we can make lots of money because our agent will license it to everyone. And so that was like, how do we do that? Let's just do that. And I called my friend who did starred in Murder for Two, and I was like, how did Murder for Two work? And I was like, we're gonna make money. This is how we'll finally make money at theater. And then it somehow led to a phone call with my mother, who talked about she finally has long hair at 78 years old. And I thought, that's interesting. And then I woke up at 5 in the next morning, and I wrote a scene called Sex Again, which is about two older people who haven't had sex in a long time, and they're thinking about maybe that would be nice. You know, and so that turned into this thing, and now that's been licensed, and that's going to go up next year, and it's going to be all over the country. So it was ironic. It's not a two-hander at all.
And he woke up and did that, and I was like, what are you doing? He's like, I think I'm writing a play. And I go, and you can go ahead and do that, because I don't need to write a play.
And then I felt abandoned, and that brought me back to how my father died when I was 2, and I cried.
And then I woke up the next morning, and I wrote the entire monologue called It for another character, and then we just were on.
And then that felt better. And then I stopped crying.
And then I made all his stuff better.
Yeah.
that he wrote.
Well, it's true. She does make a lot of things. She makes things weirder, which is definitely always better. I think I'm more the structure guy, and sometimes I come up with some good lines. But she'll be like, how come that person's not a homophobic, racist asshole? And I'll be like, I don't know. Maybe they should be. You know, and so that's like, because she grew up around homophobics and racists. Like, I'm being serious now. You know, terrible, terrible things people would say. And that's actually the TV show we wrote called The Lou is about her growing up in St. Louis, which is, that's what they call it down there, The Lou. And so everything is born out of, you know, obviously our own experience, but taken to the nth extreme. I mean, Clusterfuck, the show, the pilot we wrote, is really about Lisa and I. And the reason why the pilot's called Angry Vegan is because my daughter took us to this like very hipster kind of Williamsburg, Brooklyn vegan place called Champ's Diner. And it's only vegan, but it's diner food, but it's all vegan, which is really cool, right? And so, and we're mostly vegan. And so I was looking in the window and there's this huge wait. And I said, what are we waiting for? And there's these 3 girls, millennials, sitting at the fucking table. They were done with their food. They have their little cute backpacks on and they're looking at their phones. They're not even talking. They're all looking at their own phones, done with the meal. I walk in and I say, when do you think we'll get a table? Oh, well, they're just finishing up. And I said, no. They're not finishing up. They're done. They need to leave so the adults can come and sit. And I got fucking pissed. And I took a picture of those millennial girls and I put it on Instagram and I said, fucking millennials, hashtag fucking millennials. And I said, this has got to stop. And so that's, born. That was born.
So that's where OK Boomer came from?
That's where Angry Vegan came from.
Okay.
And so basically that show covers the Angry Vegan episode into her son being called the slut shamer all the way, which is as
an 8th grader.
Which happened.
So, yeah, that happened.
And he's not. He's the straightest, nicest, like square dude I know. And he's a wonderful kid. And just these things happen in our life. We live kind of part Larry David, and, you know, part, you know, bisexual goat tree.
Our friend Becky, this is really says, I love how they are so fun and enjoying themselves. The message about a happy marriage hits me hard. Bless you both. Yeah. And my friend Ann says, thinking the same. And I'm assuming she's responding to that.
Yeah,
that's sweet.
It's important. It's important.
So
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, so the way that you create, I mean, because it's been interesting. So if you go on your Instagram or you go on your Facebook pages, you see these posts that you guys have about the album that you're making right now. And I love the little pieces because it's so, Patrick has that brain too. Like I create, in our writing partnership, Patrick usually goes, Teresa, I have an idea. And then he blurts out the idea. And then I go, okay, let me sit and think on it and stuff like that. And so he's often the person who has like the first thing. It's interesting watching your like just where you take inspiration from. I mean, that's really a lot of what those little short videos are talking about, is just where you take your inspiration from. Like, oh, I just heard somebody say a line and I can't remember what it was. It was really interesting about from a woman's perspective, thinking like a man, that one that you were talking about. But anyway, so talk about the inspiration talk about the inspiration for your album and how you guys collaborated on that. And I mean, what a journey. And why did you set out and say, I want to do an LP, or did you say, I want to write a song, and then it became an LP?
You know, to have someone like this man be the biggest fan of your lifetime is everything, because there's no way I would have done this without him. I did do some songwriting when I was married and whatever, but I always knew in my guts, and going back to the whole, happy in your marriage thing and how important that is, it's, if you're going to live with and partner up with someone, whether it's, marriage or not, you're sharing a life. And I always knew in my guts that I would never be who I was supposed to be as a performer and as a creative with this person. I just knew it. Even when the times were good, I knew it. It just was, I knew I couldn't be fully expressive with that person in the way we were connected.
Yeah, like does your partner inspire you to be you?
Not without, and he would do that, but it was like roundabout, I'll pay for you to do this.
It's always a deal.
As long as you come home and make me dinner by 6 o'clock and everything is perfect and like our lives are perfect and you plan a 10-day vacation wherever I say we're going, like that sort of, so I knew that it was never an all-in thing. And when we started creating, and I didn't know where it was going or whatever, but I knew he knew I had to sing. He knew that there was something in there that was not just, you know, the Broadway girl that was in the chorus of the producers. You know,
she was more than the chorus.
I was, but it's like, that was
But
wonderful,
still.
but that was also not my destiny. I mean,
Right.
it was great. And I wished I'd never left the show because it would have changed my whole life, but then I would have never been here. So we know where we're going. The album was about that whole thing, really. It's about taking that entire experience and using all of that and creating something positive from it and being able to shut that door now, because I really do feel like it is. I feel like we took all of the things that I needed to say, put them in 12 songs, and it's in this amazing, wonderful labor of love with amazing people on it. I mean, we couldn't have had better people.
You just said it. Your musicians, your backups. I mean, like everything. I'm like just top-notch team.
Well, it's an embarrassment of riches. I mean,
yeah.
I knew Ivan Neville from a couple of other records I produced. I hired him on, and when I called him about this, I said, "Look, this isn't that. Like, this is a heart thing. This is a passion thing. It's about a woman reclaiming herself, and we as men need to not only be allies of that, but make it fucking happen. Support it in every way possible." And you know, so we went down there, and Ivan was kind of really instrumental in getting some other performers who sang with Lisa, like Irma Thomas for one, who's a legend. She's called the Soul Queen of New Orleans, and then Cyril Neville, of course, they call the grandfather of funk. I mean, he started the Meters, you know. So, and Cyril was the most interesting about it because he said, and this might be in one of the videos on Lisa's Instagram, but he said, you know, I said, so Cyril, what do you think about a woman over 40 making it in the record business now? He goes, well, shit, I ain't listening to her age. You know, and then further down, you know, it's about time women took over because we men been fucking it up. You know, he said that. So there was all this kind of not just camaraderie of musicality, but camaraderie of gender and mission and purpose. And you know what? Enough with the fucking men already. And the album, ironically, is not about that. The album's about reclaiming yourself. It's not about saying bad man.
It's not a man bashing.
No, at all. It's quite the opposite, actually. And, you know, one of the things that we've been doing in the messaging of the album is Lisa has been kind of taking responsibility for allowing herself to stay in that relationship and have allowed herself to quit a Broadway show, have allowed herself to do X, Y, and Z. And she's taking responsibility for that. And I think a lot of times, like, I guess, and I'm not like saying woke culture is bad, but a lot of times I think what woke culture kind of misses is the responsibility that the minority class also needs to take. In this case, women, right? Lisa's the first person, and you should probably just say it because I'm a man now saying mansplaining it.
I was going to say, watch your mansplaining, Tor.
Right, no, I was getting. So why don't you say what you feel really about women's part in all of this?
It's tricky, right? I mean, as a woman, and I don't think I'm not the dowdy kind of girl. Like I've been this person. I've had men hit on me forever, of all ages and all levels, above me and wherever, and below me. And it's a tricky thing because, you know, I was the girl that would walk down the street and I would appreciate the construction workers, you know, whistling at me. I'm like, oh, when they stop whistling, that's when I need to start worrying. So I was never one of those kind of, you know, all the way over to this side feminist about that kind of stuff. But I realized when all the whole Harvey Weinstein was happening, all that was coming to light, and like, you know, it just Kevin Spacey, and then there was that whole angle. It's interesting what we have allowed ourselves to get into. We have put ourselves in those positions in a way, and it's like, oh well, if she's going to do it. So if I don't do it, then I won't get. Well, guess what? You will. It's just we all have to collectively agree that we are not going to keep doing this.
But also that you're your ex was a certain way, controlling all these things, but also she allowed that.
But I allowed that. You know, I remember, and this is a very distinct moment in my marriage where he was literally like, say Tor is sitting here, but he's my ex, and I'm here, and a glass is right there. He'd go, hey baby, can you grab my glass for me? And I remember going, okay. You know, and I was like, and I remember doing it, and I was like, it was closer to him. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? And my boys were really little, and I was like, they're watching me.
Mm-hmm.
They're watching this woman, this mother of theirs, act like that. And that's what they're going to expect their wives to do, or if they're going for that when they get older. And that's not okay. I don't want to be that kind of a role model for my children, whether they were, boys or girls. It's not healthy. That's not healthy, and it's not healthy for me, period.
So how does it feel as an artist then to see I've Seen the Light climbing the Billboard adult contemporary chart?
It's first of all, it's crazy because an unknown never gets to do that. Like, this is, that's my whole point. Like, I want to be 45 and I want to do this, and I want other women to go, I don't have to give up on my dream. It's not too fancy for me to try now. It's my right. It's what I was supposed to be doing all of this time. So it's time that now I claim that and do it. And we can still write plays over here, and we can do that over there. But this is, I can't do any of it without honoring this. So that's why it had to happen. And that's why it's out there. And we're very excited.
I also really think that, and people say this, and people have said it to me, and I've said it to other people. I've never really believed it until now, to be honest. But good music, good art rises. It may not be in the time frame you'd like it to. It's never in the time frame I would like it to. But it does. It comes. And this record, that song in particular, but this record, it deserves it. And it's not just because I co-wrote it and produced it. It's because it's important in the most fun way possible. It's not important like, Curious Incident of the Dog in the Night kind of important, or there's no autism in this album. You know what I mean? It's not important like that. It's important because it's a celebration of self. Mm-hmm. And it's not just about her. It's about every person, and men too, by the way. Like, it's really, what do we say? We say it's an album for women and the men who love them, mm-hmm. and the men who love men, and bisexual tree goats. It's for everyone.
You said something early on about I'm not listening to her age. I love that statement. And it's actually one of the things that I love about that show, The Voice, because they're not seeing, they're hearing, right? And it's actually, once it gets past that, I'm not that interested, truthfully. But I just love what you're saying about it, because I'm a firm believer about right timing. Yeah. And meaning your 25-year-old wasn't ready for that song. You outed yourself at 45 is what I'm guessing. I'm okay. But what I didn't want to make an assumption, but what I'm saying is that I love that at 45 is the right time for this to be expressed, right? And one of the things I do, have you ever heard of The Artist Way? The book, The Artist Way?
I did the whole thing.
I facilitate it, and I've got it. I've got it right here. It's falling apart, but it's
Patrick
so much about.
He teaches online. He does tons of Artist Way.
Oh wow!
I saw that. I didn't understand. I mean, I knew you had something about it, but I didn't realize you were that much like.
Yeah, Mark, my partner, was actually in the guinea pig group that this came out of in Chicago.
Holy crap.
But I wish I could take this section of it and show it to my class next Tuesday. I had it last night. Because I'm such a firm believer of things will manifest if they're supposed to manifest in the right time.
Yeah.
And what you're doing with this is, I just think, fantastic. I love that philosophy and that idea. I really do. Because I say to so many people, we interviewed Marion Ross from Happy Days. We've worked with Marion Ross, and she didn't get Happy Days until she was 40 years old. Wow. And she was single, broke with 2 kids. And then she found the love of her life in her 60s. So, yeah. I advise you to read her book or listen to it because it's really inspirational. It really is.
Sure, she wants to be in senior living. We're casting it for next January. I'm not kidding.
She finally retired at 92. She doesn't want to do it anymore.
I'm 92 years old.
Yes.
Wow.
Ed Asner will do it. He'll do anything.
Yeah.
He might not be able to walk, but he'll do it.
He doesn't have.
Oh my gosh, we're already at 7:45. Holy cow.
Wow.
Oh, look at Rebecca Donald
says over 40 women have lots to say and sing.
That's right.
But that's the thing, right? Because like I know the older I get, the more I realize one very important thing. I have no control over anything.
Right.
And I think when I was younger, I thought I did.
Yeah.
You know, the only thing I'm convinced of is because I'm Jewish is that the more I worry, the more control I have over it. But we don't have any control over anything. So it's just at this point, I mean, I'm 51, you know, so I feel like my father died really young, and I feel like I'm living on borrowed time. So he died at 39. So when I turned 40, I thought, oh my God,
you made it.
I'm still here.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous because just because he died, it didn't mean I would die. In my brain, I thought maybe I would, and actually, I'm lying. In my brain, I thought I would for 100% sure, and I didn't. And so I got 11 years now after him, and I feel like if I told my friend last night, if you're not having fun.
That's us too. If we're not having fun with it, I don't want to do it. And you know, we really make our projects fun.
That's
you know,
that's what Fubble is. Fubble is Patrick does. I think they call them malaprops. And he and I had a meeting in New York City. He invited me. I was still running a children's museum, and he invited me to his meeting at William Morris Agency. And I was like, "What the hell? I'll go. This will be fun."
Yeah.
And so we go to William Morris, and he gets done, and I said, "Why do you get so nervous before meetings? You were just great." And he goes, "I don't know. I'm just always so afraid I'm going to fubble." And I went, "What? You mean like that? Like, oh, that's what you." Because he screws his words up, but that's what Fubble is. It's like, make mistakes, have fun. Don't, be your authentic self. If you are,
you're gonna fubble and fubble along. And
well, yeah, right. And like they say, if you're gonna make mistakes,
make them
loud.
Well, you know what Miles Davis says, and that's in Artist's Way. Mistakes are necessary.
Yeah.
So I want to know, we're going to close it out, but where are you guys 1 year from now, besides being out of a pandemic?
Well,
we're going to have to be on tour with the whole family, still homeschooling in an Airstream.
That's not bad. That's fun.
I mean, honestly, here's where we are. We have our second record is signed by Blue Note.
Nice.
They work out of the Capitol. Don Was, who's the president of Blue Note, he works out of the Capitol Records building in LA. And we have just lined up our world tour.
Nice.
To open for, I'm thinking Mark Ronson.
Who?
Mark Ronson.
Mark Ronson.
Do it.
No, but who's the guy? He sings at a great time.
Mark Revier. You want me to open?
No.
I want to open for Mark Revier.
Who's the guy? Bruno Mars. We're opening for Bruno Mars. And Mark Ronson comes on the tour and guests of Bruno Mars every so often, and then loves us so much that he wants to produce the third record for Lisa, and then we're just skyrocketing.
That's all happening in a year.
And then at the Bruno Mars, you're inviting Teresa and I backstage.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you guys are actually on tour with us. Getting paid.
Oh, are we?
Yeah, you're shooting.
You're the gaffer.
There's a documentary happening.
I'm the best boy.
You're the best boy, and you always will be.
Oh my gosh, that's great, you guys. Love the future poll there. That's great.
Yeah.
Future poll.
Yeah.
I love it. That's what we call it. Well, it has been so great to hang with you guys.
Oh, you too. I can't believe it's over.
Do you have titles for episodes? Because if you do, can you call it Bisexual Tree Goat with Tor and Lisa?
We will find a way to call it.
Going down on a bike.
No, just Bisexual Tree Goat. We're gonna write something with that, guaranteed. I can't believe I said that.
I did a character in a sketch group in LA, and then we recreated it, which his name was Dr. Potty Mouth. And he was a gynecologist, and he couldn't say any of the words. So he would say front butt and things like that. So this episode kind of reminds me, I feel like I'm Dr. Potty Mouth. You're saying the swear words, and I'm like, oh.
I love it. I'm happy.
It's great. And then here's what's that?
We're happy to be part of your improv troupe.
And here's your YouTube, so people can go there and hear and see the fantastic song. So I just put that in the chat so they can link right over to it and click on it.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, but we're on Spotify. Go stream, like, and follow a playlist and all the stuff the millennials do. Do it. Do all that stuff.
I have no shame anymore, you guys. I just fucking ask everybody to do it. I'm like, do it.
Well, I'll tell you, it's so, because we're producers and we're independent, and you just do it. You know, it's like, he and I'm joking. It's like you post a thing on Facebook, like, follow my new album. I worked my life to do it. And you get like 3 likes. And then you're like, here's my dog took a shit in the kitchen. Like 800 likes. It's like, how does this work?
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't work.
It's there's no plan. It's just
it doesn't. It's not what it's meant for. So
no.
But this is meant for fun, F-bombs, Fubble Time. So thank you. Oh my gosh, I jumped in late and listened to some of their YouTube things. Have they ever played the Bamelia's Bar?
Bemelman's Bar. No,
we haven't. We haven't actually. We played a lot of. We played the Vineyard in New York. We
City
played City Winery. We played 54
54
Below.
Oh, fun.
Why
does Jan Frost own the Bemelman?
No, she doesn't. She's a friend of mine down here in Florida, but she must like it.
Does she want to invest in it and buy it?
Probably getting deals.
Jan, I want to be named Jan Frost. That's a great name. Hi, I'm Jan Frost.
Jan Frost Russell.
Russell, you're forgetting Russell.
I'm leaving it out for the stage name thing. Russell's
Jan Frost.
Jan Frost.
Very good. All right,
okay, gang.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This was a blast.
Can we just do this without being on the TV? Let's just do this again.
Yeah.
Okay.
It isn't a TV.
Whatever.
It's a TV. It's always a TV, right?
It's a TV.
All right, gang. Bye.
Don't run away. Throw you in the green room. Oh my God, that was hilarious. I told
so much
you.
Fun.
Wow.
So much fun.
Very fun.
So that was the end of our Couples Month, Creative Couples Month for February.
Yes.
And then our focus for next month is comedy. Right?
Yep.
Because in the middle of the month is Laugh Fest, which we have been a part of. And so we're doing something special for Laugh Fest.
We have a great guest coming up for Laugh Fest.
Yes, we do. Yay.
They're going to do everything tomorrow. Yeah, let's just tell people.
All right. Then you tell them.
We are going to be hosting Alan Zweibel. Alan was who came to see Trump Family Special, but Alan is a writer. He wrote the first 5 seasons of SNL. He was Gilda Radner's writing partner. He's written for Curb Your Enthusiasm, The David Letterman Show. I mean, he's got. I know I should
Gary
have
Shandling. Gary Shandling show.
Created it with Gary Shandling.
700 Sundays with Billy Crystal.
Tony Nomination.
The show with Marty.
Yeah. So
but Anne has written so many books. I think I think I have his
Laugh Lines is out now. But anyway, we're excited.
Oh, Bunny Bunny, look at yes.
Bunny Bunny, the play he wrote that became a play that he wrote. There you go. So anyway, we'll have comedians, improv artists. So Alan will be joining us next month. All right. With that, what do we say?
Got to get out of here.
We got to go.
Got to go. Bye, everybody.